Please note exits in the room, smoking is not permitted on school grounds, and if you could please mute or turn off your cell phones. First item on our agenda tonight is the STA.
So I need to get my text set up. Okay. Cool. We'll see if this all works for me today. It usually doesn't. I told Steve earlier I tapped in something. That was a lot. All right. So I wanted to start out by telling you about an experience I got to be part of today, which was super cool. So some of these pictures are me because this is how that thankfully took some photos. I was really busy and didn't have time for that. This was a 5th grade thing. They sometimes invite me over to the other building to hang out with them. This was a Civil War experience. It's a wit and wisdom topic combined with student-based learning. I think they just needed an extra set of hands, but I was able to come over. Andrew Farrow from Model Schools also came. There's a picture of him as well, and he brought Alicia McKenzie. I don't think there's a picture of her. She's a librarian from the Two Bossies. And they focused on photography of the Civil War. They were right before me, and the kids kept coming out and telling me how cool it was. They learned about the early process of capturing an image, and then they used Canva, which I'm also using to show you this, and the photo imaging tools editing tools to place themselves in pictures with historical scenes from the time. And then the students also visited Mrs. Johnston, and they took on the role of someone in an Army field hospital. And they learned about the spread of disease and then waited to see if they survived the outbreaks of dysentery and typhoid fever. So it's my understanding that some of us did die from dysentery. Mrs. O'Malley worked with students to set up army camps using maps in the library. They used their math skills to block out the area where latrines, hospitals, kitchens, and company streets would best be placed for the health and success of the regiment. And then you get to see me as well. The students shared lots of information that they had learned about the Underground Railroad with me. So they told me they knew a lot about the Underground Railroad. It was fantastic. And I got to support them as they deciphered coded messages from, they were pretend, but coded messages from conductors on the Underground Railroad that would help people go from one station to another. As they traveled the Underground Railroad. And man, they were really good. They were fantastic. So this is one of those things that's really cool to do. I get to go visit with them. And Mrs. Johnson and I were talking about this afterwards. It's really nice. I told the kids too, when they come over and do their tour for 6th grade, they come in here and they all sit in here and people parade through and they're like, oh, I'm so-and-so and I do such and such. And I get to come in and be like, hey, I'm Mrs. Carpenter. I'm a 6th grade, or I'm a 6th through 12th grade librarian. And they're like, yeah, you know. So that's kind of fun. So I got to do that today. That was super, super cool. If you ever hear that something like that is going on, like 100% come in because it is just the coolest stuff that happens here. Another really cool thing that happens in the elementary school every year is pick a reading partner. So there's a lot of stuff about books in my talk today. This one is not an exciting picture. You can not look at it if you want to. But Tiffany Murray and Kayla Dyer coordinate with Scholastic every year to have the book fair come in for a week during March. They do a teacher preview on Friday morning before the book fair opens, where teachers come in and they pick some books. They're on display for the week. They get to do a raffle. They put bookmarks inside books as teacher recommendations. They do 2 family events, one on the evening and one on Saturday morning, where families can come and shop for their children. Students come in during the week to shop. They work really closely with the PTA. They develop a theme. The PTA sends volunteers in to run the book fair so the students can shop during the day. They run down during their lunches to make sure, the teachers that is, to make sure that everything's running smoothly. They get changed, they do returns if they're needed. And then with some of those profits from the book fair, they were able to donate, and this was the first thing they told me, and then I was like, please tell me more, that they were able to donate 28 books to the backpack program, and they purchased 15 books for classrooms in the elementary school. Should you want to put it on your calendar for next year, they told me that the book fair for next year is March 1st through the 8th, 2027. And Mrs. O'Malley posted books and bagels in the library, in the elementary library, to highlight all the new books that she purchased and added to the elementary library for students. Teachers got bagels for breakfast, and they were entered into raffles, and she talked with them about all the books they could tell students about, using their classrooms, and got to kind of hang out with each other, next student. Mrs. Schutte, who talks to you all the time and always invites you into the classroom, she said again, she says always come to her in the classroom, she means it, go visit. She also emailed me to say that the 4th grade went on a really great field trip to the Universal Preservation Hall, which is spectacular, to see the show, The Workers on the Erie Canal. This is not from that show, but it is from a really cool website that New York State has, the digital heritage. It is workers, these are actual workers on the Erie Canal locally. That was a wonderful live performance that taught students about the importance of the waterway in New York State and a little about the immigrants who lived here during that time. So stop by and see Mrs. Schutte. I'm sure she knows about it. And Mrs. Giebel showed me this fantastic video. There is no sound, so I have no idea if the sound is going to work yet. But this is a video that she shared with me about the elementary art room. So feel free to enjoy that for a minute. I hope that I just figured out there is sound in the later video. I just figured out what was that. The 6th grade teachers invited Andrew Ferrone. He's popped up twice already. He comes to us from model schools at Boise. He's fantastic. Please keep him coming. We love him. He was a guest teacher and supported instruction for a Canva book trailer project. Book trailers are like movie trailers. You know movie trailers well. The students borrowed books from our library. He showed them how to create book trailers to share information about their books, and that was very well received. And then yesterday, the Stillwater Books and Bites Book Club had a virtual author visit, Zoom or Google Meet, with author Ellie Schwartz. She is the author of the current novel they're reading, Hidden Fruits. And the students asked her questions about her writing process, her motivation for telling this particular story, and asked her questions about regarding characterization and other parts of plot development. Music department, super busy this month. Let's see. This is Not That. Kara Pitkin accompanied 12 6th grade students to Maple Middle School for the NISMA Solo Festival on March 6th and 7th. They each prepared a vocal solo with her beginning in November, and they worked on that every week after school, right up until March. They have to sing that prepared solo and sight read an 8-measure piece of music that they have never seen before that moment. As the preparing adjudicator is listening and critiquing their performance, they all received a score based on 28 total points of comments on what was good and ideas of things to continue working on. Best thing about this, all of these students received scores that were rated as either excellent or outstanding. They were Joelle Miller, Ethan Putney, Eve Riley, Lauren Ham, Liz Perry, Charlie Loft, Sophie Surface, Bryn Madigan, Grace Whiting, Cora Placencia, Chloe Wilbert, and Jalen Caldera. But it's actually up there. I don't know if you guys, any of you made it to the play. It was, I'm told, phenomenal. The following weekend, March 13th and 14th, many of the same people I just said are in these pictures. And a large number of other middle school students, there were 45 in the total, presented in middle school musical Descendants. That was led by Patrick Foxton and assisted by Kara Pickman. They had been working on this since September. Both Patrick and Kara are very proud of the work they put in, and even prouder of the fact that it was entirely student-run. The students were in charge of lights, sound, spotlight, and backstage. These are jobs that don't get a lot of mention, but they are essential to the full running of the show. The performers themselves worked very hard to memorize their lines, the songs, and grew as actors during the process. Huge success, many hours of rehearsals and work from everyone involved. And I have something else to tell you about middle school, but I do want to put in a quick plug here for the School of Rock performance tomorrow night, which is high school. If you are looking to go out on the town, 6:30 tomorrow night at Putnam Place in Saratoga. There's information and tickets on the school website. 9 of our talented high school musicians are performing a real live, like, rockin' out gig, and they would love your support. I'm told there's Chuck Berry and Metallica and Pat Benatar. And I know that I was just in a meeting with Michael Kavanaugh, who was not alive when these people were popular. So there is actually some Green Day as well, and they may have been, you may have been alive when they were playing music. So if those other ones are not names that you are familiar with, sorry, just throw that out there. You might have heard me a little bit in the last meeting. I said we were live in 1984. So sorry. Also at the Stillwater Middle School, the middle school.
Today we're going to be learning some.
So the middle school.
Today we're going to be learning some easy.
All right, we're just going to watch this.
Today we're going to be learning some easy conversation starters in ASL. First phrase that we're going to do is "How are you?" There are 2 ways to do this. For the first one, you put your hands close to your chest, but they're still together like this, and they're touching by the fingers, and they're at your chest, and you bring them out and point your dominant finger towards the person you're talking to, and make sure that your face is like asking a question. So the second one we're going to be doing is older but still acceptable. You put your hands the same way, fingers touching close to your chest, and bring it out, and then point at the person you're talking to, still confused or asking questions. So next phrase we're doing, we already learned a while ago, but we're just doing this as a refresher. It's "What's your name?" So as we said earlier in the year, "What's your name?" is different in ASL. It is backwards almost. So it's "Your name what?" ASL, they don't sign exact English. So what you would respond is "My name," and then you'd finger spell your name. So Kaydence. The only way to get a sign name is if someone deaf gives it to you, and it is usually based off your personality and your mannerisms. What we're gonna do is "Nice meet you" or "Nice to meet you." So first, to do nice, you take your non-dominant hand, and your dominant hand rubs on top of it towards the person you're talking to. So "Nice meet," you make D's with your hand. The hand that is closest to you is your dominant hand. The hand that's farther away is your non-dominant hand. And you take your dominant hand moving towards your non-dominant hand, like you're meeting someone. Nice meet, and then you just point at the person at the end that you're talking to. So one more time. Nice meet you.
So you just met Cadence. And so our middle school TV students they televise the morning announcements, and they're going beyond the lens to foster a little bit more inclusive campus. They're dedicating a little time to learning ASL, American Sign Language. This is powered by 2 teachers and actually one of our building subs as well. So Mrs. Decker volunteers her expertise to teach the signs, and our building substitute, Ms. Purcell, has also been helping with the ASL instruction. And Mrs. Kalkbrenner helps the students edit and polish their final video segments, and she produces MSTU. So Cadence has really been committed to this. She shows incredible dedication to improving her skills and sharing her passion for ASL with the entire school. So hugely informative, but also a great bridge to the deaf community and making sure our school culture is accessible to everyone. She's really mastered her alphabet, numbers, and basic phrases, and empathy and inclusion is huge. So that's fantastic. Sorry, I couldn't, but it was great to have her introduce herself. This one, my son's a senior, and I wish they did this when he was a junior. My son was elsewhere, but Mrs. Brown's students are in English 11, and they just did an assignment that asked them to get a letter of advice from a responsible adult or adults to compare to the advice Polonius gives his son Laertes in the Shakespeare play Hamlet, which is something they're studying in class. And so they went home, they asked a parent to provide this, or an adult to provide this letter. If they didn't have someone provide a letter, there was a more generic letter so they could still do the assignment, no one's left out. And one class did have all the students write a letter, and that was super powerful for them. And she did say that several years ago, a senior parent came to speak to her at open house to thank her for the assignment and to give him a chance to say things to his son that he might not. That was really, really great. This one, super cool. I see this a lot on social media. There's so many, not this on social media, but this particular one, here we go. Okay, I'll tell you about it anyway. So Mrs. Jackson's first period participation in government class, I lost my picture for it, was discussing how the New York State Board of Elections verifies a registered voter at the polls. Use your signature, you go out, you sign your name, you cast your signature. And the students were like, I don't really have a signature. I just wrote my name when I got my license. Nothing special. And so one student was like, we're going to have to sign lots of things in the next year. We have lots of legal documents, student loans, leases, and things like that. So she got an online cursive template and did their names on it, and then created individualized handouts for them. And so they practiced if they wanted to, and she gave them extra credit. And if they signed their name on their test, she didn't. So, and they've also been writing advocacy letters on topics of their choice, and they will sign those letters with their name. So, and then also in cursive, Mrs. Heflin's class, Madame Heflin's class, has been writing pen pals from France. And they write the old-fashioned way. They exchange letters and photos and artwork with their new friends. And Stillwater students, she said, are always amazed that French kids have to write in cursive. They use graph paper instead of loose leaf, and they're always traveling to other countries. And this is her kids getting their letters. Mrs. Dunn, who is the class of 2028 advisor, shared with me that the class of 2028 just completed an Easter-themed fundraiser. This was the third one they did this year for the community. They did a trunk or treat in October, Christmas event in December. And she stopped me today. She told me about this the other day. She stopped me today to say about 100 children attended the event, but she was most proud that a whole bunch of parents that were attending the event stopped to tell her, to compliment her on the sophomores and how well they were doing. So that's really cool. And then Mrs. Luskin's 12th graders just completed the true crime research papers. They developed their own thesis involving a specific criminal or case and supported it with evidence and reasoning. They explored high-interest topics like criminal psychology, nature versus nurture, and their effects on criminal behavior, the impact of DNA technology on investigations, media's influence on specific crimes and criminals, issues involving wrongful convictions, and crimes that led to change in policy. So this one I wish I had pictures of. This is another one of those ones where I would invite you to go to the classroom because you don't have any pictures. But Mr. Gregoire is doing all sorts of cool things, and I did use actually AI to make this picture, which I don't do all the time, but use your imagination. Feel free to visit him. He is doing, in his residential structures class, Mr. Gregoire's class, of building a 16-foot by 12-foot tiny home. And they were building it in the classroom. He was describing this to me one day, and I was like, okay. So they've been building it inside, but they've been building it in panels. The students designed panels inside, but so in such a way that they could take the house apart, move it outside, and put it back together right outside the classroom. So she said now that the weather is decent, the building it outside should be quick because everything's complete and the roof structure and the trusses have already been built. And the goal is to have it weather tight in time for spring break, so we're almost there, so that they can focus on the finishing, the siding, the windows, the doors, and the roofing. school year. So that's pretty amazing. And then in his principal's engineering class, they have been building and designing and building power generation units. They were evenly split. Half of them have been creating windmills. The other half have been building water turbines. And they did 3D printers in there, and they've been working nonstop since February 11th to produce multiple components for these builds, to build rapid prototype renewable energy generators to the students' designs. And then in his intro to engineering design, students have been building 3D cube puzzles to attempt to stump their classmates with the most challenging puzzles. They've been digitally designing, testing, and redesigning interlocking 3D puzzles as a form of competition. And they have prototyped the most difficult puzzle with individual wooden cubes, performing a statistical analysis of the components to ensure that individual parts fit together based on a single statistical standard deviation based on their components' individual measured sizes to ensure a proper tight fit. And now that the 3D printers are freed up from the other project, they will transition to their final project, printed in plastic. So I asked AI to show you all of that, and that's what we got. So I would very much invite you to visit Mr. Degbar, because I'm sure it's even cooler than that. That's what AI dreamed up for me. But I also wanted to, so I just went to the finance committee meeting before this because I was interested in that. And some of the things we were talking about in there are things that STA has been engaging in for advocacy purposes as well. So I wanted to mention some of that as well. We had the opportunity recently to send Ian Godfrey to NICE's Committee of 100 Day, and he met with our elected representatives in their offices, as well as some from surrounding areas as well. He said those meetings were positive. Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle are talking about the same things you guys are talking about, the need for support and certain changes within our school and state. One of the most important things was what we were just talking about, school funding and foundation aid. There's clearly to increase foundation aid generally, specifically for Stillwater. We're at that minimum 1% increase, which does not match the current economic climate. And I know that he specifically says, yes, I spoke to our legislators and said that specifically for us is not going to work. Please increase that. And they were like, yes, we know that is not going to work. We'll work on that. So, you know, whether that happens or not, but they know, they heard us, and we went to their doors and said, so I want to thank you though for allowing us to share every month what our members are doing. Every time I ask my colleagues to share with stuff with me to tell you, I'm always amazed by what's going on. Like I talk to my colleagues and I'm a little high. I know what's going on in my building, but mostly. But like there's a lot of stuff going on that I don't even know about. And I'm a firm believer that if we as colleagues don't know what all is going on, there is no way you guys know all the cool stuff that's going on in this district unless we tell you. So I really appreciate the opportunity to tell you about this stuff because I want you to know. I serve on a library board and I have my staff tell me what's going on in the library so that I can tell other people all the cool stuff that we do. So I hope that you will tell other people all the cool stuff that happens here because we're doing a lot of amazing things. And if it's not just Mrs. Schutte, if you want to come to our classrooms, let us know. We want to see you. Come on in. We're happy to have you. So thanks again. Sorry I took up so much time. They told me a lot of really cool things this time. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. We do appreciate you guys coming and telling us what you're doing. I think it's very important for us to know it. So thank you. Okay, moving on. We have public input on agenda items. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us tonight, and this is the public input part of our meeting. But just a reminder that we believe it's essential to hear your thoughts and concerns and to make sure that we get feedback and input from the administration. We won't be responding to you tonight, but hopefully we'll follow up with answers either at the next meeting or via email from the appropriate staff. Please keep in mind that we do not discuss students or personnel issues during this time. We take those concerns very seriously, and we ask that you follow proper administrative channels to resolve them. Finally, please be respectful of everyone. And hopefully everyone will get a chance to speak, which I don't think that's going to be a problem tonight. But when you speak, please state your name and address for the record. Anybody would like to comment to the board? Nothing? Okay, thank you. Moving on, we'll go to the consent agenda items. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda items exclusive of board minutes of the 3/11/26 board meeting and CSE recommendations.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have the superintendent's report.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to bring this to closure. I know you've heard from me multiple times about our professional development day that we collaborated with Corinth that occurred between board meetings. So last Monday, Corinth came to, faculty staff came here, and initially it was just, we partnered with them to get a co-cert to hear a speaker. At their suggestion, hey, can you come over for a full day? And it doesn't sound like a lot, but there's a ton of planning that has to go into that. A lot of choreography, a lot of conversations that occur. So they started to occur at the district level. Then we went to the building level, and I was pretty confident at the end, although you get a little hesitant, that it was going to end up being a good day and a little positive by nature. So I figured it would, and prayed a lot that it would. And the results of that day, from the teachers that I've spoken to, from the administrators that they've solicited information from their faculty and staff, it was a great day. Started off in the morning. Everybody broke either in the grade level or by department, and they had discussions regarding curriculum and behaviors. The speaker was more about behaviors that we're seeing in the classrooms, and it's gotten kind of out of hand. I'm proud that we did this because I think it's been a little while since we've had a PD day like that, not just some internal or a couple of people coming in, and I think something to this magnitude was really good. And I do know from my history in education, although people roll their eyes sometimes, say, oh, we got to get to another group of people. I don't want to do this, huggy type, hi, how you doing type, hang out with and meet other people. But I believe this really went well. In fact, at the end of it, the culmination, Corinth, when I spoke to them, they said we'd love to have some type of partnership to end up doing other things when we end up having professional development days. Next year's calendar is a little bit tight, and I think the following year, so I might have to wait a little while. But I want to thank everyone, faculty, staff, administrators that did such a great job, and especially with the way you represented Stillwater, who we are. So I did receive an email from their superintendent. I'd like to share it with everyone. Joe, we're on a first name basis. Thank you for hosting Corinth for our recent superintendent's conference day. We truly appreciate the time, effort, and care that went into making the day a huge success. The event was exceptionally well organized, and it was clear that thoughtful planning went into every detail. Our faculty and staff valued the opportunity to engage in meaningful discussion around their interests, and Mr. Mendler was outstanding. Your staff was professional, kind, and incredibly accommodating throughout the day, which did not go unnoticed. We were also very impressed with your facilities and campus. Please extend a special thank you to your administrative team for their work in organizing the event and ensuring that we were comfortable throughout our visit. Their efforts made a lasting impression. Thank you again for your hospitality and partnership. So I just wanted to share that. It was a great day. We were working. I know Brogan loved the day. He told us it was great that the students had a day off. They're looking forward to that. So I think everybody was happy. So most people were happy. So thank you for your support in that. So.
Thank you. Next, we have the business administrator.
Yes, thank you. I only have 2 items. The bids for phase 1 of the capital project have been released. They were published in newspapers, and they're available online for contractors that are interested. This Friday, the architect, in collaboration with Bruce, is hosting a walkthrough for interested contractors that want to take a look at the facilities and work that needs to be done while they determine if they're going to bid or not. So we continue to be right on schedule to get this work started after Memorial Day. And the other item to talk about tonight is this morning I was at, along with Superintendent Mariano and Renee Price, we were at a safety award recognition conference this morning, for which the Stillwater Central School District received a titanium with honors, the highest level Safety Award through Utica National Insurance Company. They have a variety of metrics: bullying prevention programs, playground safety, transportation, risk management, other specific and quantifiable surveys. And, us receiving the highest level safety award is really a testament to the environment that has been created here and the tireless work of Renee for submitting such a complicated and really significant application to get us this award. So we were recognized along with other school districts for our safety programs and the value that we place on safety here. We've received another plaque that we can put in the hallway, and we got a check for $500 to continue the good work we do toward a safe environment. So thank you, Renee, for everything you did for that award.
Thank you.
That's it.
That's it? Okay, thank you. Okay, next is our student board member report out.
Hi, I first want to say sorry, there was a word at the last meeting that got mixed up. I think it was the last meeting when you did less ended up coming,
Oh, okay.
but other than that, things are going well. I know NHS just did a bottle drop for colon cancer last weekend. I was there, that went well. Key Club, they had a field trip to the Memory Care Center today, and I've heard good things about that. Everybody's pretty content. I haven't heard any complaints. Everybody's happy.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to personnel. I need a motion to appoint Madison Rams as the modified girls lacrosse coach for the spring 2026 season at a stipend of $2,627. Mrs. Rams has all the criteria required to coach.
Second.
Questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Need a motion to appoint Logan Tolman as the modified boys lacrosse coach for the spring 2026 season at a stipend of $2,627. Mr. Tolman has all the criteria required to coach.
So moved.
Questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I need a motion to approve the resignation of Deborah Stalker as bus driver effective March 20th, 26th. Deborah would like to stay on as a substitute driver at a rate of $22 an hour after the specified date of retirement. Questions, comments? Okay, we have a resignation, but it says retirement. Is she retiring or after the specified date of retirement? For Deborah Stalker.
Oh, yeah.
Is it a resignation or retirement?
Resignation.
Okay, all right. So after the specified date of resignation, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I need a motion to approve the retirement of Sarah Minetto as bus driver effective April 30th, 2026. She has been in the district for almost 20 years. Sarah would like to stay on as a substitute driver at the rate of $22 an hour after the specified date of retirement.
Second.
Questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, moving on to action items. We have policy. I need a motion to dissolve policy 5574 Medicaid compliance program.
So moved.
Questions, comments? I'll just note that this policy was reviewed and discussed and that we don't foresee receiving at least $1 million in consecutive 12-month period directly or indirectly from the Medicaid program, so that it's not really necessary. Just for those of you who are not at the meeting. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I need a motion of read to adopt policy 7530 child abuse and maltreatment with changes. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, a motion for a read to adopt and change in policy 8130 equal education opportunities to policy 75054 equal education opportunities. Questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now I need a motion to read to adopt policy 7530 child abuse and maltreatment with changes.
So moved.
Questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I need a motion to adopt policy 7470, student government with customizations.
So moved.
Questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, and I need a motion to approve the draft 2026-2027 school district calendar.
Sorry.
Questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I also have a motion to approve a day trip to Montreal, Quebec, Canada on May 1st, 2026 for the attached.
Second.
Questions, comments? I just had one question. This is a 7th and 8th grade trip, and it looks like they're going to let 11th graders go too.
Yeah, does anybody have any more information on that? They extended, because the 11th graders missed a trip back in COVID or something like that. But yeah, they're extending.
As space allows.
Yeah,
so it's
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we have a program committee report out. Carol?
Yeah, thank you. We had a program committee meeting last week. We met with Rebecca Tolman, elementary school principal, and Michael Benamati, in charge of pupil personnel support services, right? Did I get that time? We discussed the elementary report card and additionally a focus on mental health as we kind of discussed before. So the big takeaways of our conversation were one, that the results of the elementary school report card were improvements in science and math, but compared to the state average, but still lagging behind in ELA. And we deep dived that a little bit, and Mrs. Holman attributed that to a lack of attention span for reading due to the increase in digital media and everything like that in the pre-K years and prior to that, before getting to school even. So that's one significant driver that's kind of outside of our realm of influence. And additionally, in coordination with that, or in line with that, the similar conversation around mental health. We're doing many things here to support people that have challenges and needs, but they're only here for 8 or 9 hours a day. And a lot of the drivers of things that are causing people problems with mental health issues and anxieties and grief are a result of things that happen after school hours and elsewhere in the community. So I don't know that there's a lot specifically we can take action to do to address that. One interesting conversation we had was maybe a non-school committee or organization pulling in some people from PTA, teachers, school board members, parents, and other members of different organizations in the community to do a targeted social media kind of account or campaign for people in the community. Because if we put something out on School Tool, people that don't have kids in school yet aren't seeing that. And but almost everybody is, the problem is social, the problem driving a lot of this is social media, and the solution is also social media. They're looking at their phones sometimes rather than reading a book with their kids or whatever it may be. So something, targeting, just reminders. You see it on Instagram in different ways for reminders and positive quotes for your mental health, your physical well-being, stuff along that line. So I'm going to reach out to different people, and anybody that's interested in, cooperating with me on that, I take that initiative and kind of see if we can get some people interested in doing some of that in the community.
A marketing campaign.
Yeah.
to
Just some, and my thought is that we would pull in who, maybe we could find out, who are the most, who are the most observed Facebook groups like this, the Water Community Group and the Express Community, whoever's, maybe we can get some widespread proliferation on different channels or social media posts that would push out and reach a lot of people, and just little things. I mean, as a new parent, there's things you don't know what you don't know. And maybe a little reminder, like your kid should be reading X amount of time a day, or you should be reading this amount of time with your kid, or by this age, your child should be able to do this, because we're having more and more kids coming to kindergarten, first and second grade that don't have some fundamental life skills that they ought to have by 4 or 5 years old. And it's creating distraction in the school environment, and some of the other issues cause distractions in their emotional health. Those are the high points of the program committee meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The next meeting date has not been set yet. I think the focus is going to be AI. A lot of us have been exchanging different information, sharing policies. Like to kind of put together a core program committee mission statement for AI and how we can harness some of those advantages, and then maybe forward that to the policy committee to develop a district-wide policy on AI implementation and safeguards.
I did some research on AI today. I pulled down some information, so I can share it with you guys. Okay, is that it?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, the next item is public input, or I'm sorry, board items of interest. Anybody have anything of interest?
A few months ago, I talked about, I visited another school, and their athletic booster club had signage in and around the campus, and it was a significant source of fundraising for them. They had a unified booster club that served all of their athletic programs. Other schools, and ourselves included, have individualized, like we have a basketball booster club and a softball booster club. But I didn't find any information, and it didn't seem like anyone was opposed to individual booster clubs pursuing that and displaying those banners.
Just
Maybe
like
we would-
banners where?
Either on the fences or in the gymnasium, selling advertising space in a sense to supplement booster club revenue.
I mean, I have no objection to it, but it's something that we would have to approve, so we don't have them just putting up any banner.
Right. I assume we have to have some sort of guideline on, the size and, the placement of it.
Maybe you can look into what the other school, what, if they have a
Yeah.
policy or some
Yep.
kind of regulations, because even with the booster clubs, we just can't arbitrarily just put anything up in the school,
Right.
just in case, there's liability for us.
Yeah.
So,
I'd like to keep pushing that,
okay,
get some momentum.
sounds good. Anything else?
Just to kind of, I guess, spitball from what Darrell was saying about getting a campaign out for mental health and bringing it from our school district, maybe it's something that we can involve the student body in, student government, and I don't know if it's a possibility to come up with like a big brother, big sister type program for mentoring some of the younger kids that are coming in that might not have that support at home.
I could definitely bring it up with student government.
Yeah. Oh, I missed one highlight back in the program committee. We also discussed middle school and high school athletes doing more at the elementary school level in that vein as under mentorship, but also to drive participation levels in sports. So it was kind of a win-win situation. So I think Rebecca's going to look into it, increasing those opportunities.
When I was in school, which was a long time ago, during our study halls and stuff, the juniors and seniors, we could go down to the elementary school and sign up and help out in the elementary classrooms, and be there like, mentors for those kids. So
Yeah, in the instances where they've done it, it's been really well received.
Yeah.
Elementary students look up to the high school athletes and has a really positive impact on them.
Even outside of the athletic departments, just to have that with
Yeah.
music and art and
Absolutely, same.
reading and any kind of mentorship from the older students, and
absolutely.
give some help for the teachers and volunteer hours for the kids who want to volunteer.
Anything else?
Did I miss anything else?
I don't remember, so
It's a lot.
I think we covered it.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Public input on non-agenda items. Anybody would like to address the board? No? Okay. That is it for our agenda. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting into executive session. We are going in for STA negotiations and personnel? Okay, personnel.
Yes.
Need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Are we staying here or going in the conference
I
room?
think we're going to conference room. We're going to say we're going to conference room.